Coming up on this episode of Killer Rides, our feature cars include an EFI 350 powered LC Torana and a very rare F100 panel truck sporting a very special engine combo you just have to see to believe. We also check out the 2016 Sydney Hot Rod and Custom Auto Expo from Rosehill Racecourse. So let's get this episode started with a wild blown big block Chevy C10 pickup. Enjoy the show.
Just to be a little bit different, to stand out from the crowd, so you're not in the average Commodore or Falcon that a lot of people have got these days. Just something that's different. No, it started out, it was a driving full work, it was a work truck. It was an ex-carpet layers truck. And it looked nothing like it does today. Yes and no. We started off with do the body work, smooth all the body out, get it low so it looked nice, and then the engine came along and it just got way out of hand. The engine's a 572 cubic inch big block. It's got a Kelly's crank, Oliver rods, custom JE pistons, Edelbrock heads, nice Camtech camshaft in it, all solid roller cam. Runs on methanol, produces up around the 1400 horsepower on the flywheel. We tried to make it as drivable as possible, but as you know, engines like that aren't sometimes too drivable, but on the street that is. But yeah, we sort of still have a little bit of fun with it, and you just got to learn to control it. These days you go to a burnout event, you go to summer nats, you go to anywhere where there's a lot of high profile cars, and you're really struggling to see a car that doesn't have an injector hat on it. So that's why I went the other way. It is an old school car, and old school cars had carbies, and we've spent a lot of money on these carbies for that reason, to try and stay away from the injector hat, to sort of look like everybody else. Because you line up 20 cars at summer nats and they'll all have a big and ugly sitting on each one of them. And whether it's a Corolla or a Falcon or a Commodore, they all look the same because they all blend into the same basket, whereas nobody runs that setup anymore, so we want to try and master it. It's a driver, like an event car, like we take it to Power Cruise, Summer Nats, Super Nats, basically anywhere where we can take the car to drive it. It is registered, although there's a few points on there that probably the RMS wouldn't agree with, but yeah, we wanted it to be a drivable car so that we can take it out and have fun with it, take 2 passengers with me, and everyone can enjoy the car, rather than it just being a straight out burnout car that just gets trailered to an event and just does a burnout, put it back on the trailer, and that's all it does. So with this we get a lot more fun out of the car, and my wife, my daughter and my son come with me, and they all have a blast, and everyone else. I would probably make it a little bit higher off the ground and possibly a little bit less horsepower, just so it makes it a little bit easier to drive on the street. And in saying that, probably steer away from the methanol and go to just a E85 setup or something like that, so it just makes it a bit more user friendly if you want to go for long drives with it. Where at the moment we're limited, you got to really know how far your fuel's going to get you and get you home. Otherwise you're going to send someone for fuel to get you back. It's the Tangerine off the 2012 Ford Focus XR5 Turbo, and it hasn't had any tweakings with it. It's a factory colour. I'd like to thank Harris Engines with helped me with assembling the engine. Pro Paint down at Chipping Norton for painting the car for me. Trick Trimming did all the trim work for me. My son, he gave me a lot of help with fabricating a lot of the four-link rear end and cross members and all the chassis work that's been done on the car. My family for putting up with me with spending a lot of time on the car and not with them. Yeah, and some of the boys that work for me, they put in a bit of time here and there and gave me a hand when they, in their own time when they didn't need to, and so I appreciate all that. Hi, I'm Sean, this is my Chevy truck, and you've been watching Killer Rides.
3 years ago, I told my lovely wife, who without I couldn't do this, that I wanted an F100 Ute. I was looking for a classic car, and the F100 really struck my eye. I was looking and looking and looking, and even wanted to buy local, but I wasn't impressed with what people had done, and I thought it was too common what they had done. So I went looking through the classifieds, mainly in California, because I wanted a California truck, and I just happened to come across this one. It had just come on sale. So I sent the guy a message and said I'm interested, gave him a non-refundable deposit of $500, not knowing whether I was going to buy it or not. And lo and behold, had all the inspections done, had it delivered, and yeah, that's all she wrote. Saw the panel and fell in love straight away. Yeah, it was modelled on a chip foose back in the day by the original owner, but unfortunately it's not a chip foose. If it was, I'd be grateful. But yeah. It's a World Industries Factory 427 manual block, running 2 custom TO4s and turbos, external wastegates, and a 671 BDS blower. Custom fuel rails, LS7 coil packs, running 12 injectors for a total of 16,000 cc's of fuel, 8 1s and 2 4s. We've got 8 1s running post blower and 2 4s running pre-blower for cooling. Runs on E85 ethanol. Currently running 7 pounds boost PSI for 700 horsepower, and 12 pounds for 1,000 horsepower. Block is good for between 2,000 to 2,500 horsepower. We're looking at about 1,500 in the rear wheels in the next 12 months, with better engineering to the running gear, obviously. But yeah, she's quite unique. I went with the 2 turbos and the blower because I just don't see it, and everyone who does see it says it's insane, and it's a good feeling that people appreciate engineering such as this. My good friend at Pulse Racing at Menai, Paul Fisher, does my wife and I Subarus. He's very good at what he does. I came to him with a vision and a dream, and him and his team put it together for me. It's been 3 years in the making, a lot of sweat, blood, tears, empty wallets, what have you. I've got him on tap now. I mean, I can message him anytime I like at night, and he's always quick to respond. He even came down to the latest summer nats just for a bit of mechanical advice because I was having some fuel issues. That's dedication, in my opinion. So yeah, so big shout out to Paul Fisher of Pulse Racing at Menai. All this engineering it's my brainchild, but I couldn't do it without him. Obviously he has his contacts. It's got superb welding. It's got things that people are just in awe about. So yeah, all the kudos to him. So for someone that's 28, the first weekend of this year, 2015, I drove it from Sydney to Canberra. I chewed approximately 120 litres of fuel, and the reaction was instant. People had never seen one in the previous years. They just were in awe at the fact that Ford F100 did make a panel. As most of your viewers would know, they're all utes. So as soon as I saw this, I had to buy it because I knew the rarity of it. So when I brought it down to the Nats, parked it straight on Tough Street, and within minutes it was like seagulls to chips. It was crazy. People sticking their heads in, wondering, why I've got hot water going into my blower from the radiator, not knowing what's what, and once you explain it to them, they're like, mate, you're nuts. He goes, you're a champion. They shook my hand, but you're nuts. He goes, that's just crazy, and good luck. You'll be picked up by someone shortly. So yeah, so the reaction was instant. It's a sleeper. I mean, you drive it down the track, and most young kids go, is that full throttle? And then when you give it a squirt and it goes to $6,500 and 4 wastegates pop open, people genuinely were shocked. They were surprised at what this thing, how it growled once you opened it up. Okay, so for the interior, the two main differences that I did was the Dakota Digital dash. It's custom made for the F100 bezel, so it fits in perfectly. Nice and bright blue. It has all the settings you would want, from quarter-mile speed, quarter-mile time, to fuel economy, revs at speed, whatever sort of outlay or output you want, it's got. The other thing we did do is we've got a racing Motec engine under the center console at the moment, and all the wiring, I wanted it all hidden. I still wanted it to maintain its sort of 50s look a bit, and that's it. Just a bit of polish, a bit of vacuuming, and that's it. It just looks really good. As a driver, okay, you couldn't drive it daily because she's very thirsty. Currently running 2 kilometres per litre. So in the old books, that's 4.7 miles to the gallon, which is not much at all. Mind you, ethanol is cheaper these days, so it's not too bad. At the moment, because it's still got 30 to 50-year-old running gear, brake suspension, and so forth, it's very boaty and floaty. So when you do give it a squirt in first, it goes straight to about 100 clicks, and it's very hard to handle. The gearbox is quite good. It was done by Ours Race Glides, so it's still a Ford C6 transmission, or full billet internals, but in full reverse manual. So I can obviously adjust how I want to go, how quick, if I want to stop it quicker. But at the moment, she's very wild, unless I get some better running gear.
Look, we get to drive the car, I guess, when it's a good day.
Yeah.
And when there are, when we have some downtime at home, and when there are car shows on. I'm not allowed to drive the car yet, but I guess I'll progress to driver one day. At this stage, I'm just a passenger.
We'll go to the Kmart car park and we'll put up some cardboard boxes here. I'm Stan, this is Gab, you're watching Killer Rides!
The Sydney Hot Rod and Custom Auto Expo is back, bigger and better than ever for 2016 at the fabulous Rosehill Racecourse. The popularity of the event meant that more floor space was needed to fit the cars and traders who wanted to be part of this ever-expanding show. This year, thanks to 3M, custom car legend Chip Foose was on hand at the show, signing autographs, checking out the cars, and even awarding 5 Chips Picks trophies. Along with the 3 undercover areas overflowing with all the colour, chrome and horsepower we've come to expect, the show also filled the betting ring where there was everything from drag boats, lowriders, airbrushing displays and even more cars. Being the only indoor car show in Sydney this year, and with Chip Foose in attendance, this event was always going to be an outstanding success. The constant flow of people coming through the gates was a sure sign that this show is definitely here to stay. The Sydney Hot Rod and Custom Auto Expo exceeded everyone's expectations this year, proof that hard work and perseverance will pay off. Andy, Donna and their team have created an event that is a mainstay on the custom car show calendar. I for one can't wait to see what they come up with for 2017.
Well, I built the car, what would it be, 14 years ago nearly. Was a one owner for an old bloke and I helped build it. Spent a lot of time on it. And yeah, it come up for sale, so I couldn't pass it up. Took it on, and I'm a Ford man and breaks up the car scene, you know. Started off as just a crate engine, 307. That was a second rebuild because it was from a 6 to the Chev. Registered and engineered like that, and third rebuild, pulled apart, Brodex alloy heads, injection perfection, injection on it, which was a major thing. Pretty tough engine combo, roller cam, forged, yeah, full float pistons, 010 block. Yeah, a lot of money's worth in there.
Yeah. So roughly what sort of power does it make?
It's hard to say because they've dynoed it and it's not right, so nobody knows yet.
Enough to fry the tyres.
Enough to do top gear skids everywhere. Full stocker, one owner was the previous owner's auntie's car from new, from Nowra Holden. It'd been under a carport all its life, done minimal miles, and it's had 3 rebuilds in its time, was an XU1 lookalike twice, and now to this stage as it is now.
So it's literally a little old lady's car?
Yes it is, and I think we had to replace both guard bottoms with rust, and that's all. The rest is put the flutes in the guards, which was the first thing we done.
Yep.
And then mini tubs and tunnel and snowballed from there. I like the LCs, the grille looks a lot better, blinger. I don't know, tail lights are a bit standard, but I don't know, the front looks different. Not many people do LCs. So. I drive it as much as I can every week, most weekends. It's that sort of car. You can take it in the city, taken in the cross a few times in George Street, Harry's, driven it to work a few times because the car sat for probably 12 years in a shed and only done minimal miles. So I've just been enjoying it.
No hassle with the police?
Never been hassled, and I'm waiting to, and just produce engineers and say there it is. Rushing for Summonats years ago, and the car was way off. There was a shell, painted shell, missing motor box trim, and we couldn't make the deadline, and I got pissed off and the owner got pissed off, and we let it sit for a while, which is fair enough. Yes, get it tuned properly, the injection, computer wise, and I'd like to put coilovers in the arse end and get it sitting a bit lower in the back, get it squatting down low, which I've always wanted to. Yeah, that's probably it, and drive it. Trim's not my scene, but yep. Leave it and drive it every day. been a lot of people had input on this car. Craig Burns done all the pipes, Tony Roberts done paintwork, Don Barry, which was the owner of the car, which no expense spared, for me doing after hours work on it. His son-in-law, Daryl, which made all the dash up, a lot of the fab work on the radiator shroud, and yeah, a lot of guys made a lot of billet stuff up for this car, which was handmade. There's been a lot of people have thrown ideas at it. And
Cool.
I'm Daniel, this is my Torana LC 350, and you're watching Killer Rides.